Hi, you guys. I'm super excited to announce that my journal is finally ready for publishing. You trying to get something published like this is a freaking nightmare. But anyways, if you've been through a narcissistic relationship, you've been through even worse nightmares than trying to get a journal published. But I'm super excited that it's finally ready after me trying to do it myself and then finally saying, I can't do this. I'm going to hire someone to do this. It's on Amazon. It's ready for purchase. So I wanted to share it with you. So I'm going to click to share my screen. That way you can see it and see the first couple of pages of it. What it is, it's a 40-day journal prompt. So I'm going to share with you the introduction, my inspiration behind creating it, and my journey, a little bit into my journey. So very intimate, very personal. I hope that you feel that same sense of connection with this when I share it with you. So this has to do with where this experience and this journey led me to being in my faith and my relationship with the divine creator, who I call God. Different people call God, creator, universe, source, spirit, whatever it is. My emotional childhood neglect, my first narcissistic marriage with a covert narcissist, the second narcissistic relationship with a malignant narcissist that was even worse than the first, led me to a beautiful relationship with our creator. And so this journal is to bridge those two for you, to take the pain from the emotionally abusive, traumatic, and neglectful past and see the purpose in it and see the way that God has been there for you all throughout, and to really hopefully deepen your relationship and this connection with understanding what you need to understand about the abuse from the past to connecting you with your creator today, with God. So I'm going to share with you the first couple pages and insights into the journal. I'm super excited. It's available for purchase now. You can get a printed copy on Amazon. You can also download the Kindle edition as well. I would prefer the printed copy, especially with journaling. I like to physically write on things. So I'm going to share with you the what the beginning of it is about. Yes, I'm going to read this. So obviously, if you purchase it, you'll have this access to the same reading, but this is just going to give you an insight into what the actual journal looks like. So the idea, like I just shared with you, had many inspirations. The greatest one was from Creator, from mine, from yours, from our God. And I just felt called to write this. I didn't know why. I just said I'm going to take a little bit of a break and work this in through what I already do. But in my darkest moment, he was the only one there for me. And I know it was him, and I explained more into that of why. Uh, I had been with a malignant narcissist who's my daughter's dad at that point in my what I call my darkest night, my deepest night, for about 4 years. And I did not want to be around anymore. And if you've been with a narcissist, you know that feeling that you want this to end. You don't want to be around anymore. I hated, hated the fact that I was alive. I hated the fact that I existed, that I was here. Like with every cell of my being, I wanted to go. I wanted the pain to end. I wanted it to be done. I hated the narcissist. I hated myself even more for being with him. Every night was a long sleepless night in trying to, attach to this, trying to figure out where he was, who he was with, what he was doing with them, why he wasn't answering his phone, why he would not answer his phone, but then he would text message me 5 hours later, what's up? Like, just the complete mind, you know what, was unreal. And if you've been with a narcissist, I know you've been through that too. And you know it is unreal. Like it feels like you're literally going insane, you're going crazy, you're losing your brain, you're losing your mind, and you just think, why? Like I wanted to rip my skin off. I wanted to just destroy life as I knew it because I felt so destroyed inside. I wanted it to all be done, all be over. The lying, the cheating, the manipulation, that sheer rage, like the indescribable rage I felt about my life, about the numbness of what it had become, how I had gotten there. I mean, here I am, a beautiful woman, an intelligent woman, in shape. I tried everything. I take care of myself. Like, how in the world did I end up in this situation with this person? So, because of this, not just the first narcissist, but here we are in the second one after a lifetime of never feeling like I was ever good enough, that I ever measured up to anything. I just did not want to be around anymore. I hated that constant feeling of heaviness, that struggle, the suffering, the strangulation. It felt like there were just my my life was being strangled. Like there was no oxygen. It felt like I could barely breathe, like I was choking and grasping for air. I thought I looked horribly ugly. When I would look at myself, if I ever looked at myself, I would just begin to cry because generally when I looked at myself, I had already been crying. My eyes were puffy and red, and they looked like lips more than eyes because they were so swollen from the sleepless nights and the tears and just the sheer abuse of this kind of relationship. And I felt so trapped in it. I felt like a prisoner, even though I was in my own home. And I was free to leave. I left and I would come and go as I pleased, but I still felt like coming home was a jail, like it was a sentence, like I was coming home to prison, even though it was my home and I decorated it and I owned it. Like it still felt like a prison. So I prayed, even though I didn't call it praying then, because I did not have a relationship with God then that I would call it. Very different from the one that I have now. But I would ask whoever was up there, wherever that person was, to just let me die. Like, take me, please. I did not care if it was a car accident, it was my brakes going out, if I got a coconut water from the gym that was poisoned. I didn't care. I just wanted out. I wanted to be taken off this planet. I wanted to go. That's all I thought about. That is what I became obsessed with, was thinking about just take me. And so at night, I mean, I would stay awake till who knows? I mean, I would feel the heaviness and the exhaustion just behind my eyes when I'd finally pass out from that exhaustion, lying there in bed, just saying, just take me. And then I'd wake up thinking, I hate you because you didn't take me. Why am I awake again? Why? No, really, like you want me to continue to go through more pain and more torture and more torment with this person? That's why you kept me here? Really? And I just so mad, so angry at God because I felt like he was letting me struggle. He was letting me suffer, making me struggle and suffer for another day on this hell-forsaken earth. And I was really, 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 really angry with God. Hated him. I said it was all his fault. It's all the narcissist's fault. And noticing that, right, me, where I was then pointing the finger at everyone else, pointing the finger at God, pointing the finger at the narcissist, and just riddled with anger and rage, at just constantly yelling at him, right? Okay, well, if there is a God, why did you let him come into my life? Why did you let him completely destroy every part of it? I mean, I didn't have a lot in the beginning when I first met him. I just come out of a divorce, actually a separation with a covert narcissist, got into the relationship with a malignant narcissist prior to even being divorced. So technically still married. And I just thought that that wasn't enough. Like now you're putting me into the hands of a malignant narcissist. Like who, what kind of God are you? Like really, what kind of God does that? And because of this, I didn't want to go on living. And because he wasn't taking me, he wasn't poisoning my coconut water after my yoga class from the gym, I was trying to figure out a way that I could do it myself, right? I was going through the list of ways that I could take care of that myself, and all of them sounded really, really painful. I was a chicken and a coward, thank God. But I wanted someone else to do it for me. And that was part of my codependency, I'm guessing. I wanted everyone to do something else for me. That was part of my dependency on someone else. Part of the reason why the narcissist I know came into my life. But as you can see, I cry. I had a baby. I had my daughter, and I now know that's the reason why I had her. Because if it hadn't been for her, and God blessing me with her, I probably wouldn't be here. She was my why. And I constantly questioned why. Why would you let me have a baby with this freaking monster? And I hated myself for having those thoughts after I had her because I thought, what kind of mother doesn't want to be here for their child? And I I loved her so much, but I was also so angry because she was the attachment to the narcissist. And she also was the only reason I kept going because although I fantasized about not being here, I didn't want her to grow up with him. And I just thought, how selfish of me to do that to her. So she is the very reason I'm here. And I knew a good mom, right, is not supposed to have thoughts like that. But when you've been with a narcissist, you know the way that they treat you and the way you feel about yourself, you don't care at that point. You just want the pain to end. But I'm so thankful for God. He had other plans for me and for her. And now we live such an incredible life, such a beautiful life together with each other. I have an incredible life now. No longer in that place, but clearly it's still like meant to me to be there. Um, I remember that night like it was yesterday, lying in bed, another horrible night, of course, unable to stay awake and also unable to sleep, feeling incredibly heavy, like just yelling at God, so angry. Again, trying to think about how I could not be alive, how I could end all this. And I remember asking him, like, okay, if you're real, if you're up there, if you're out there, wherever there is, prove it. Because you're doing a damn horrible job. You really, really suck, right? You're supposed to be good and you're supposed to help people in their time of need. And you freaking suck. And I remember it like it was yesterday, just in between the words and the thoughts. I remember lying there in my bed. I can feel my daughter next to me. Um, Literally, like when someone is close enough to you that you can feel their breath on you, feeling that. And it was on my left side. I remember feeling the breath of the words this close to my face. It felt somewhere between like 4 to 6 inches from my face, feeling the breath of the voice. Like I could feel the air leaving their mouth as they said these words. And that's all it said, and it was a man's voice. And I can't remember if I was actually asleep. I don't think I was, but I was trying to fall asleep. And it was a man's voice, and it was not the ex-narcissist voice. He had been gone on some drinking bender, I'm sure, like sleeping with whoever he was sleeping with at that time. That wasn't me. And my baby next to me. And just hearing and feeling the words, I love you. And it freaked me out. That's all it said, just a man's voice, I love you. And it was distinct. It was never a voice I'd ever heard before, ever. I recognized that I didn't recognize it. Um, I freaked out. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is weird. So I remember waking up and going through my house. I thought, did someone break into my house? But that's really weird. No one would break into your house and get that close to you and whisper, I love you. Like, I felt like I'm going insane. But I knew I wasn't dreaming. I knew I was awake. And so checked the house, like every room, checked the doors. They were locked, like nothing was different. And I thought that is so weird. So I called my mom. At this point, my mom was very used to me calling her all the time and just breaking down on the phone. And my mom is incredible. She would just listen to me. And my mom's been a believer her entire life. And she said to me, I wonder who it was. And I know that when she said that, she knew. But she wasn't going to tell me because she knew how bad I was hurting and where I was at. And I know that she always had been praying for me. And I knew the answer, but I said, I don't know. And I knew in that moment, like, God was there for me. Sorry, I didn't expect to cry this much in this video. But this first introduction into this journal goes into this story. Do you think it was God? Or I think she said something along the lines of, who do you think it was? And I thought, what? Like, I remember thinking, what? What do you mean? Uh, and another story about my family I share, like with my stepdad, when he shared his story with me when he was going through his divorce, he had a similar experience and connection with God. And I think we all have our own experience and our own stories about how he presents in our lives and how he shows up and how he lets us know he's there for us and always has been and always will be. So I share his story, what he shared with me, and how different things were from that day forward. Like the trajectory of my life changed, the path that my life was on changed. It did not change overnight, that's for sure. But it did significantly change, and it continues to daily because of my relationship with God and where it is now. And He's showing up in a completely different way now because my life is on a completely different path. I do also credit utilizing the power of connecting with my unconscious mind and getting rid of the limiting and negative beliefs that I had about myself, getting rid of the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, the energetic and emotional connection to the narcissist with that and with my relationship with God. But I know that that all comes from the very person who created us. So through that, I created this journal that's called Three Little Words. This journal arose from that experience and the many other experiences that follow. So I do believe we all have many gifts. This is one of mine that I felt called and compelled to share with others to help you explore the areas in your life that you need more understanding, that you need more evidence, that you need more faith, that you need more trust in God after coming through the tragedy of a narcissistic relationship. So I share, I hope you find the space in these pages to go where you need to go, to feel what you need to feel free to question, to feel free to get angry, to feel free to just express and explore and receive that understanding that you're seeking. So there's prompts on each page, and on each page I do share a quick overview of the three little words for that page. There's three little words that are different for each page. I share the ones that resonated with me from that time to current, whenever I finished writing this sometime late last year. So I invite you to explore where they take you. And my hope is that they bring you closer to your creator. They bring you closer to God so that you can not only think, but feel and believe and experience the love that He has for you, the unconditional love. Especially when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you are loved based on condition. And it is okay to question. It's okay to explore. It's okay to doubt. It's okay to to wonder. I feel like God really wants you to, because in that He's actually able to give you answers that are specifically designed for you. And in that, a way that He can show you that He does love you. He loves you unconditionally. Um, so in this, you'll see the journal is called Three Little Words. And the first page is I love you, because those were the first three little words that I heard. You may not have had that experience with God or with your creator yet. Maybe you've been hoping for it, wishing for it, praying for it, asking for it, longing for it, and you don't feel like you've experienced it yet. So I hope that through the use of this journal in the 40 days that plus that you go through it, that you begin to get closer to that and have that experience and have that really wonderful connection with God. You're going to see three little words. You'll see me give a little blurb about my experience with those three little words, and then a prompt that says something along the lines to help you explore even further. So that, for example, the first one is, what do these little words, I love you, mean to you? And space to write, followed with a verse that goes with that. For example, when you've been with a narcissist, makes me want to vomit now. He always used to say, "But I love you." And it was after we had had a huge argument. But I love you after I found out he cheated on me multiple times. But I love you after I found out that instead of coming home when he was at the airport, blackout drunk and missed his flight, that he lied and said that they canceled his flight and it was getting changed. And it just, so those three little words, well, actually, he used four, and there was but. It's like, dismiss all that. I love you. I hated those three little words. So when I first wrote this and filled it out, what do those three little words mean to you? I hated those three little words. They meant to me anger. They meant to me excuses for abuse. So you're gonna find that, not everything is like, oh, I love you, God, and that's okay. And I don't want it to be this. I want this to be a journal and a space for you to really be honest and open up with yourself about these three little words and what they mean. So you're gonna see the prompts for three little words throughout the journal. And I just hope it's a safe space for you to explore and develop your connection and relationship with God. It may start off like mine did. It may start off just full of rage and anger and frustration, and letting it out that this is your fault, I hate you, like, where are you? Why did you do this to me? But I truly believe that throughout the course of it, you'll find your relationship changes, and you'll find your relationship morphs into something so much more beautiful. So I just wanted to share that with you and invite you to get your copy on Amazon and develop your relationship from there. So happy to announce my daughter is almost 6, and we have such a great relationship. We get this cute little best friend, best friend forever bracelets. So especially if you have kids or you've been through hell with a narcissist, I hope you find this journal helpful for you in developing and creating a much closer relationship with God and with your creator through that. All right, guys, that is it. Pardon the tears. I'm gonna go clean up now, and let me know what you think about the journal. All right, guys, bye for now.